So let me go ahead and give you my tier list. This is just kind of like my opinion of where these mushrooms fall. So the first one we have is a short stem Russula. So these ones you'll find a lot of times in older growth, darker forest around cedar trees, and they actually turn into lobster mushrooms when they get parasited on. But before they're parasited by a lobster, they just remain to be a short stem Russula. So these ones are edible. They do go bad really fast. So a lot of times you find them and they do have worms or they're getting kind of rotten on the inside. You can kind of even see it on this one a little bit. But these ones, they don't have much flavor. I've tried them just a little bit. Yeah, not much flavor. They do, they're a chunky mushroom. They're a big mushroom. But yeah, I'm not really liking these ones too much. A lot of people don't keep these either. So this is kind of like a D tier. It's maybe like a survival type of food, or it's not bad. It's just not much flavor at all. So going on to the next one. Next one's a pretty famous mushroom in the Pacific Northwest, and even in Asia, or I guess especially I should say in Asia, this is a very famous mushroom. We've had quite a few from the Pacific Northwest, and I've went over to Asia, to China, and we got a Matsutake dish that was well prepared. It was really expensive. If you haven't had it, you should really try it. It's not even a mushroom flavor. It's kind of like a pine cinnamon type of thing. It's just very seasonal, very unique. They don't have bugs that many times. There is a few times you get a little bit of bugs in them. It gets kind of competitive out there for matsutake hunting, so a lot of people like these, and they try to cover up their spots and all that stuff. And I was talking with my wife. She seemed to think this was kind of like an A tier, but I really think this is an S tier. I think this is one of the best ones in the Pacific Northwest. Even if you're commercial hunting, these are the ones that sell. So that's the ones they're looking for too. So I'm going to drop that into an S tier. So yeah, I really like matsutakis. I got to get them every year. There's a couple dishes we just need to do. So go in there. Another one, this one's kind of overlooked a lot of times. These are the little puffballs. I tried this in hot pot last year and I really liked it. It's got this really soft kind of texture. I don't know. I don't know if a lot of people eat these, but they are edible and they got this really nice soft texture. I think the size of them kind of limits to what you can do with them in dishes. I'm gonna actually put this into like a B tier, so it's kind of surprising. It's just one that I don't hear about very often. Okay, now this one is a Reshi. These ones you kind of have to learn to identify. They look like a conch, but they're softer, so they're easy to take off the trees. And these are ones that they're also expensive because they really have a reputation for being like a medicinal mushroom. And even I buy them, like I get it with this one like sleep drink mix thing. They're known for a lot of different medicinal purposes and they get quite expensive. But as for far as flavor, I don't really like them. We tried cooking them in some food, but they're really bitter. So I think for me, I'm gonna put them in D tier. Just don't really like them. This got a bitter. I can't really see much culinary use for it. Maybe if you powder them up and you put them in some sort of like a drink mix, like a tea, or if you have one of those medicinal needs, that's definitely one that you would want to pick. So it'd be different for different people. This one is an interesting one. This is a Shaggy Mane, and they start out white like this, but they only last for like a couple days or a week, and then they start turning black, like ink black. And if you pick them and you get them warm, they'll also turn black in just like a matter of hours. So it's really interesting mushrooms. So we pick them, we fried them up, we ate them, and dang, they are good. I'm really surprised. These are awesome. Like you can take the whole thing and just put a coating on it and then fry it. And yeah, it's really good. Actually, my wife, she said that this is like her favorite mushroom. So to me, I'm gonna go. It's not quite as much as a matsutake for me, so I'm gonna put an A tier. These are one that, boy, I think they're overlooked, but they're really good. Try it out. Yeah. Okay, so now we go over to a Yellowfoot Chanterelle. Now, these are kind of like, what you think of the more chunky chanterelles, but they come out really late in the year and they're really resistant to like frost. So you can find these November, December. Yeah, no problem at all. But they're smaller. Give them a shot. It's about the same way you identify the chanterelle. You look for the fall skills. Be careful when you pick these, but I'm gonna say it's not quite. I don't really like the flavor. I don't think it's that great. I think that the thing is the size too, kind of like the puffballs. It's kind of limits to what you can do with it. So I'm gonna put it into a C tier. Next one's interesting. These are the king boletes. So king boletes are pretty cool. They're a huge mushroom. They're very soft. Like the cap of them can be like very soft. It's like a sponge. And it's just, you can even eat these raw too. So I wouldn't even hesitate to say go ahead and even try this raw. You know, the problem with the kings is they get bugs. So you want to pick them early. Like this one probably wasn't good. It made for a cool picture, but it's probably like this is probably not good because it's probably gonna have bugs because the bugs love king boletes too. So that's the thing. You got to be really picky when you're picking them. Pick only the best specimens. But porcini, I mean, these are world famous, right? They're really good. The bugs kind of are kind of they put me off a little bit. But this is where I'm kind of thinking like A or B. I'm probably gonna go with like, I mean, it's gonna be a little bit higher than a puffball, right? So I'd say probably an A tier. So next one, these are lobster mushrooms. These are actually related to this Russula in that this is the same mushroom as that. It's just that this one has had a fungus host on it. It's a parasitic fungus that turns that Russula from a white to an orange or a red. So these are super interesting and they're very common if you go down lower in elevation in the fall. You can find them early in the season. You can find them pretty late in the season. And like I said, look for old growth. The same thing you're going to find Russulas. Look for the old growth. Look for cedar trees, very dark forest. And chances are you're going to find a lobster. It's one of the most common. And the interesting thing is we really like these now. They're kind of like they can be kind of dirty on top and stuff like that. So they're not always the most appealing. But we found that we've been eating these lobsters just over and over. They got a really nice crisp kind of a texture to them. And yeah, surprisingly, these lobsters are really good for how common they are. I'm going to put them B tier. And it's a close, almost A tier for that one. Okay, next ones are the hedgehogs. So hedgehogs are super cool. They're very frost resistant. Like you can see in this picture, it's kind of like snowy on the ground. Even into like the springtime, if it's early spring, you can even find them. They're really resistant to freezes, and they got this nice crisp texture too. So instead of like stringy, they'll break apart, and you can flip them upside down, and you look for the teeth on them, and they got this really nice taste to it. It's like a nutty. It's even a spicy. If you try it raw, I wouldn't eat too much raw, but if you eat it raw, it's like really spicy. And I think that's like their natural insecticide. There's no bugs in these. I mean, they just got a really nice flavor to them. And these are one of my favorite ones to find. We always eat them like right away. So I'm actually going to put this one S tier as well. So these are the two that I really like finding Matsutakes, hedgehogs. Yep. To me, that's S tier. Cauliflower. Now, cauliflowers, these are big, chunky mushrooms. They can be like 5-10 pounds sometimes when you find them. They're a lot of mushroom. You can fill up the whole bag with one cauliflower. And they're really cool because you can find them year after year in the same spot. I got this place up by Mount Hood where I marked one and I go back year after year and it's always there. Sometimes other places, they don't grow back. So it's kind of hit or miss, but sometimes they keep on growing back year after year. And they're really nice. You can eat them like in egg noodles, or I hear people doing like a stroganoff, like a mushroom stroganoff with these. Egg noodles is great. The thing is, they can get some bugs, so check them for bugs. These are kind of like they're kind of thinner and stuff like that, so it's not that hard to check for bugs. The bugs would be in the thicker part of them, but yeah, really nice. Kind of a sweeter mushroom. Not a big mushroom flavor, but yeah, these are great. So man, these gotta go. I think these gotta go in A tier. Really like the cauliflowers. Bear's head tooth. Now these ones you go up higher, and they're kind of similar to a cauliflower, except for these will be growing on a tree. The bear's head tooth, they got like a sweeter flavor to them. You can use them in place of seafood. You have to watch out a little bit for bugs. Again, it's going to be kind of in that thicker part of the mushroom that's closer to the trees, closer to the tree where it's hosting. Very nice in dishes. It's a unique sweet flavor. I'm putting it. I think it's really close to like cauliflower, lobster. Like these ones in the B tier are really good too. Like so. I'm probably gonna go. Okay, I'll leave the cauliflower up there. I'll put the bear's head tooth one step below that. Okay, the last one. It's the mighty chanterelles, right? These are the ones that are they're so common around here. Everyone loves to pick them. You can get them in the grocery store. They're a beautiful mushroom, and they cook up really well. With these, I like fried chanterelles. I'll kind of like cut them by the waves on the cap, and I'll dip them in some flour and then fry them in oil until they're nice and golden and crispy. They're delicious like that. The problem with chanterelles, in my opinion, is that they have kind of a stringy texture to them, and they get really like kind of soft when you cook them. So for me, it kind of limits like the number of dishes that I can use these in. And so that's why, like to me, they're just not like the perfect like way up here like with the S tier mushrooms is because of that texture. They're a little bit softer, a little bit stringy. I think they're really really good in a couple dishes, but I can't find that many dishes for them. So that's why I mean I love chanterelles. I like this list. Like B's are great. I would keep all these B's. A's are a little bit better. So these ones are awesome. They're just a little bit rare. C, yeah, I don't have too much in C, but the Yellowfoot just kind of like, and then D, it's basically like these ones I just leave them a lot of times. So especially like Rusta, I would even rate that lower. Reshi's kind of a novel thing, and some people might like them, but that's where I'm putting my fall mushroom tier list. So let me know if you agree or disagree. Maybe there's a mushroom I left off here that you guys like to find. Yeah, let me know in the comments. All right, thanks. Bye.